I had a memory, he brings me into this journey where I am sitting on a log with him when he walked the planet. I just recognize it as when he walked the planet. And I'm seeing him through the eyes of Mary Magdalene. And these memories started, or these experiences started coming with where I could see that they were mates, they were husband and wife. Yay!
And this, I mean, I always know when I'm interviewing somebody who likes the back and forth of a conversation, because you're kind of just sitting there like,
Right? You
is
want
she
me to
gonna
go
say
further?
something?
No, more? Okay. Because I could
And it's
talk all
like
day.
pulling teeth. It's like, come on, say more. Um, okay, so the first question is the necklace. Who is on the necklace?
This is Mary Magdalene.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. And have you had any communication with her? Like what, tell me what your experience has been with Mary Magdalene.
Yes, as I was working with Yeshua in meditation, because I'd go in meditation every night with him, and he'd take me on these journeys, or I would explore my my past lives, my current life experiences. It was a crazy, crazy ride, and I did remember that I had extraterrestrials helping me when I was a little girl when I was being abused. That's another subject, but yeah. So that was a mind blower too. I didn't know anything about extraterrestrials. So you see three little gray beings that were helping me. So I had a memory, he brings me into this journey where I am sitting on a log with him when he walked the planet. I just recognize it as when he walked the planet. And I'm seeing him through the eyes of Mary Magdalene. And these memories started, or these experiences started coming with where I could see that they were mates, they were husband and wife in that lifetime. So I have a lot of experiences with that, and I just feel her. I feel like I carry her energy. There's a lot of people on the planet that carry her energy. She's part of that Christ line, and so yeah.
Yeah. I've heard that before, and so I'm it's kind of one of the things I'm trying to like wrap my brain around. So is it like in your mind, and tell me if this makes any sense or if it's something else that you're believing, that when you're saying people are carrying her energy, it's kind of like she might be part of the same higher soul, higher and then just kind of like all shoots are fractals, and so you are connected in a way. Does
Exactly.
that make okay? And
Exactly.
that's
That's yeah, because well, you know this, I'm sure you seem very aware as we have our oversoul at one level, and then another oversoul and another level, and then another oversoul, and then the big oversoul, the soul of God, the whatever you want to call it, creator, all that is that where we're all one, right? And
mhm.
so we might have these different larger groups of
Okay, yes.
oversouls. Yeah.
That would explain when people feel like they resonate with a certain, being or, like a certain prophet or, ascended master or just, a person, maybe a famous
Exactly.
person, they might be connected in that way. Okay.
Mhm.
Um, and so that was the first question. I want to make sure I don't forget anything. And opus. I don't even know what opus means. So what does opus actually mean?
Opus. What opus means is a composer or a creator's greatest composition, greatest creativity. That's what
Mhm.
opus means. Yeah. And I remember that the planet that was, that I remembered as my home world was named Opus.
Oh.
Mhm.
So, okay. Hold on.
And I do believe that we are all one of God's greatest creations.
So wait, so now Opus is the water world, the mer world? Is that what you mean, or
Yeah.
another one? Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And so that kind of jumps into another question that I had, because when you said that the water world, and I've heard this before, so I mean, I know that there are people, of course, who will listen to this whole video, like, what is wrong with both of them? Like, what are they talking about? But then you have others who are, like you said, are aware, and like I have heard about a water world, well, several water worlds, but a handful of NDEs have gone to not to say that it's the same one, because I mean, God only knows how many, I mean, really is without number, how many planets and dimensions, etc. But
Right.
have been to worlds where there are beings that look very much like what we would call a mermaid or a merman, you know? And it just
Hmm.
sounds amazing. It sounds just like fantastical. And it's actually great. Like, I mean, people just don't understand, like, just when you get stuck in the trudgery of this dense and low vibrational, planet, just the
Right.
idea that what our real reality is like a fantasy. It really is this thing that where anything you think you can be and you can create and you can go and you can experience. Like that's awesome. That's absolutely
Hmm.
awesome, you know?
Yeah.
And I look forward to the day when more earthlings or humans understand this and believe this, because it's going to take a lot of people out of their suffering, you know?
Oh,
Um,
totally. Yeah.
yeah, so also the question, sorry, because I go into tangent. So the
That's right.
question,
No, I love it. It's awesome. You're so
the
right.
question,
Yeah.
the question is, so you said that was your home world. Now, is that your only home world, or do you think that you have multiple home worlds?
Oh, I believe I have multiple worlds, but I do believe that this is probably my favorite, or one that I resonate with the most, but maybe where I originated from, I guess you could say, where I
Mm,
started fractalizing off of God's creation.
yeah,
I don't know, you know. I mean, we're just so immense. I mean, I have
yeah.
memories of the Galactic Wars coming from the Lyran system and fighting in the Galactic Wars. I have memories of a being a Pleiadian soldier. I mean, I
Wow.
still go on now we're getting into a different subject, but I still go on ships and I see extraterrestrials all the time. And
Mm,
I have, that's a whole other part of my life as
yeah.
well. So, yeah, I do feel it is a home world that, um, holds a lot dear in my heart. And I used to go there all the time during my
Mm,
meditations, because he told me I can return anytime during my meditations.
yeah.
And the reason he took me there, because a lot of people ask me, why would you take, because he also told me that when my mission here on earth is finished, that I will be able to, mm, go back there, if that makes
Mm,
sense. Use a lot of my focus from my soul to be there in real time. Like, I mean, because it's happened. It's not a past life. It's not a future life. It's an existence that is going on now.
hmm.
So I can move my soul aspect as Sharon into that soul aspect, which is the aquatic being in that world. And
Now, that goes into another question I had. So I think we have to sit here for a bit, because I get a little confused, and I'm sure a lot of people with this particular idea, it,
mhm,
because we are so stuck in time
yeah.
and space, anything outside of that are just twisting our brains, you know? So
Mhm.
when you were saying that you were experiencing your mermaid, and you had mentioned that, let me just see, make sure I didn't, you said that mate in the merland was a form of the higher mate. Is that what you said? The high.
Yes, when I talked about the when we were a consciousness of the planet, and there was the mother and the father, I guess you could say, or the male and the female,
Oh.
that my mermate there, the man okay, was an aspect of him, is
Oh,
an aspect of
wow.
him. Yeah.
Okay, okay. That's amazing. Like, imagine here, like, who would be the male and female aspect of the earth? That would be interesting, you know. All right, so okay, so when you were talking about them, I was like, okay, well, if time doesn't exist outside of Earth, um, then wouldn't you already be there simultaneously while you're living this life? And so you're saying, so are you saying that when you went there and experienced life with them, it wasn't like they missed you per se, because a part of you was already there, like you're kind of just in, like you got to explain that to me. I'm a little confused.
Okay. No, yeah, I know it's confusing. I totally get it. Uh, um, so what I understand is that, and this is what my guidance has helped me understand, that we have aspects, in different realities, different worlds and different dimensions, because we're multidimensional. And so when it's because we fractalize our personalities, we fractalize our soul, right? We're
Mhm.
fractals of our soul or oversoul. And so we bring focus into different realities. It's my understanding that this matrix that we're in now on Earth, or this Earth mission, the matrix that we're playing out, this game we're playing out, this reality we're playing out, is collapsing, and so we're moving into a higher frequency. Now we can stay with the planet and live out the the um the progress of the planet in the higher frequency, which would be the fourth density or fifth dimension, I guess. Uh, or we can choose, what I understand, we can choose to move the focus that we had on the earth plane into another life experience there, okay, on another planet or another reality. Now that we're already living, or create or take our soul, create another personality or another life.
Mhm.
I don't feel I want to reincarnate anywhere else, and we would, have to go through the birth process, right?
Mhm.
So so they can tell the higher, because that planet is in a higher frequency. The water planet,
Mhm.
Opus, is in a higher frequency, so they can tell when I've brought my focus as Sharon from Earth into my body
Oh
there.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh
And
wow.
yeah, it's like when you have out of body experiences, because I'm a traveler in out of body experiences, the people that are around you, if you're with your guides or whoever and higher dimensional beings, they can tell when you are conscious, when your earth self is conscious within that vehicle, because our bodies are vehicles, right?
Mhm.
Within that vehicle on another planet or another dimension. When we brought our awareness, because it's all about awareness and focus, we brought our awareness into another vehicle, which would be another body. They can tell that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That I mean it's a first, but it's not, I mean some part of it is definitely different for me. I've heard stories where people are talking about quantum jumping or quantum leaping, and I guess it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of the same idea, and where they are all of a sudden in a whole other body in the middle of like literally doing something, some kind of activity, in with other people around them, and then it takes maybe a little while, but the people are like, wait a minute, that's not so and so, like something just changed, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah. I
more
do
like
that all the
they,
time.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I do that.
Quantum
I just call it
leaping.
reality shifts. And the reason, what I understand is that they can tell, and we can tell here on Earth, we just don't understand it, is when someone
Mm,
brings in of uh, more of their soul, I guess you could say.
mm-hmm.
Because I always talk about bringing in our scattered parts. I ask, like, when I wake up in the morning and when I go to bed at night, bring in my scattered parts, bring in, because we're leaving parts of ourselves all over the place, right? And
Yeah.
so that's a little bit different, but it's still, we are, we're constantly thinking about something and sending parts of ourselves somewhere, some place, when, especially in the past type of thing. So bringing in those scattered parts of ourselves helps bring us more whole. And when we are bringing this personality, when we're finished with our mission, and we bring our earth personality somewhere else, or if we're just visiting there, and integrating part of our consciousness from this reality into another reality, the beings
Mm-hmm.
around can tell. On earth we
Mm,
can tell too, when someone is brighter and feels, is joyful, or is just more full and in harmony.
yeah.
You can tell, we just don't understand that a part of
What's
their
happening?
soul has been, is within their vehicle that wasn't there before, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Does
Wow.
that does
Yeah.
that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, and it explains a lot of things as well. And I could definitely, I totally believe in the having parts of yourself kind of just like scattered, because I definitely have times where I'm just feeling like, okay, I'm all over the place,
Yeah,
gotta
that's why
pull it
we
back
say
in.
that. It's true. It's
Wow.
true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so the my questions are kind of all over the place, but we are answering them here. So when you mentioned that you were the planet, and this has been said before, and the people have watched my other interviews with like Rafael Garcia being a big one, where he mentioned being able to shift his consciousness to different things and experience life from the, their viewpoint. So this has been, something that a lot of people are aware of, that we can do this. But and I've also had people who had NDEs who said that they remember lives as planets. So that was interesting. So
Mm,
you had
okay.
the experience of being able to experience Opus, the
Yes.
planets.
Yeah.
Um, and it also makes me wonder, like I do wonder sometimes, because on some people say that Earth is like kind of on the level of like an archangel, or like a very highly evolved being. And then there's other people who like I said, it was a woman who looks like she's an average human being, and she's saying she had a whole lifetime as a planet. So I just wonder, is it something that like you got to be at a certain level to do this, to be a planetoid, or
Yeah, I think we all have the capacity or the ability to tune in to those parts of us because we're all part of these higher dimensions. Our soul doesn't start here. You know what I
Mm,
mean? Yeah. And
yeah.
so I believe it's just a matter of being aware. And the more aware we are, the the higher we can, or as we go inward, the more aware we can be of our multidimensional self. And
Mm,
remember that, hey, maybe I chose to be the body of a planet. You know what I mean? Because it's a choice.
yeah.
I chose to be the body of a moon or a planet or a planetoid or whatever it is. Yeah, because
Mm,
not everyone, probably not everyone makes that choice, but
yeah.
anyone can, I believe, and does. And
Yeah.
Journey of Souls, I believe talks about this in one of those books, Destiny of Souls or Journey of Souls.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know, but yeah, I do believe we all have that conduit.
Cool, cool. And I love the way that you spoke about this as well. Like, I mean, you said that you loved everything about your body as the planet, and everything that was on you. And I was just
Yeah.
thinking, like, if we as humans felt that way about the
Hmm.
vehicles that we use here, you'd have a lot of less suffering. Like, if people just loved themselves and loved every aspect of creation, including themselves, their body, their spirit, their mind, we'd I mean, on one hand you could have a whole bunch of narcissists, but I think it would just be more of a like a spiritual kind of love, self-love. And because in that
Totally.
in that respect, self-love becomes love for everything else, because you realize the oneness of everything.
Yeah, it starts
So I
there for
mean,
sure.
but I love the way you worded that. Okay, and so uh and again, I'm all over my questions are all over because I'm scattered.
Yeah, no worries.
But but I absolutely love the fact that you came from a background that was not super religious. So there's no quote unquote reason for Jesus to have been such a big part of your
Hmm.
experience. It could have been so many other either beings or just non-beings or just anything.
Hmm.
But this particular, being, is a big part of it. And uh, I wonder, okay, so I'm going to go into another question here that I had. So do you feel like everybody has, like when you saw him in, okay, so you weren't really knowing Jesus that much on the physical realm, but
Right.
when you as the soul, and it sounds like you made it to the point where you kind of got out of the ego because you said you didn't think like a 9-year-old child. So
Right.
as the soul, do you feel like you had and I'm guessing it's your connection to Mary Magdalene maybe, but do you feel like you had a personal relationship with him, or that any soul that would have come out and seen him would have been like, oh yeah, I missed you? Or do you feel like it was more of a personal, like we've had experiences?
I can only speak for myself, but I do believe it was personal for me. Yeah, that I have a history with him. And I mean, he's there for everyone. He is, of course, there for everyone. Some
Mm,
people that I've heard and with have had near-death experiences that weren't religious or atheist or something, and he shows up for them, right?
mm,
And yeah, but they feel his immense love, and so it's probably not a connection, maybe the way I felt connected. I don't know, but as a child, I forgot to share this. As a child, I didn't feel that I missed him that bad because I had just left, basically. You know what I mean? I
Mm.
was I was only 9. And he's like, you're here
You're
again.
back. You're back.
Yeah, and I was like, all right. And I'm like, I just saw you. Okay. But in 2001, it was very different. I really missed him.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
missed him because it had been a tough life for me, even though I didn't know it,
Mm.
but I couldn't remember it. But yeah, so yeah, and the long answer to your question is it's personal
Yeah.
for
Yes.
me. Yeah.
And okay, so um what was the next question here? Okay. When he embraced you, like, so I was very surprised to hear that his hand felt very physical. That was surprising. I mean, it's surprising, but not because some other people have said that. But it's just interesting. It just shows that he has the power to be like either like ethereal, like all light,
Mhm.
shining bright, and then physical. So that's
Yeah.
interesting. But
He obviously
uh,
wanted me to feel, I mean, he's communicating this to me, right? That he wanted me to feel his hand so intensely and feel the that I felt supported by his hand, if that makes sense. That
okay, yes.
I had his hand, that he had me.
Hmm.
You have my hand, you feel it, you can feel it. It was just such an immense connection. And
Hmm.
yeah, it was indescribable.
And in his eyes. So when, of course, I mean, and you've heard probably as many NDEs because you also interview and you're in that whole world. So some people have said they're like bluish green. I've heard where they like to say the two colors. You say hear some that just say it's blue. Some people say it's brown. Some people
Mhm.
say, you hear all these different stories about what he looks like. And a lot of people who say he looks like the picture from the girl who did the Prince of Peace, the young girl
Mhm.
who did that drawing. So a lot of people say he looks like that. And then, but the thing about yours that I like, or that is just shining light, like shining. So you said it was blue and shining. Now, the
Mhm.
thing that I hear so often is that you could see the universe in his eyes. And
Mm.
that is just like, I can't even assume why that would be the case, but it's just amazing. Like many people have experienced this. Do
Mhm.
you have any ideas why?
Well, I mean, he's not a body, so he is the light of God, and we all have the ability. And that's what he taught us, and what he teaches us is that we have this ability. We are the light of God ourselves
Mm.
within a physical body, and so he was able to reach that point where any vehicle he uses to shine his light through
Mm.
would be from the light of the universe,
Mm.
and his eyes are the portal, or the portal to the lens to the universe, the God, whatever
I
we
mean,
want to call
do you think that because I mean, like you said, he comes up in a lot of NDEs, no matter what the person's religious or non-religious or God knows what. So, do you think that he has some sort of like he has let me say it, like a role, a leadership role in regards to at least this universe, or or this planet or something like that, because he's just everywhere.
Yeah, especially Earth. I mean, he
Yeah.
came down here to help us and to teach us. And he among many masters, but I believe he was the greatest teacher that walked the planet. I feel that in my heart and soul. And
Mm.
he, yeah, he's he's going to be with us until forever, forever. He's here. I mean, he didn't
Yeah.
come down here just a one and done, right?
Mm.
Yeah, he's now, as far as beyond this planet, I don't know. I would assume he has lots of responsibilities with the galaxy,
Mm.
but I know this in my heart and soul, and I feel it as I'm saying it. Earth is
Mm.
his baby.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it. And then when he communicates, like I think he said, "My child" to you. Like he does always kind of take this fatherly role. And so, okay, so here's the question because I had lost it for a second, so I was looking at it. You said that when you guys were, oh, you merged completely with him. So And so was it more like okay, so was it a feeling like you just experienced his feelings, or were you actually seeing like parts of his life? Like what were you, was it just a feeling of joy, overwhelming
It was
happiness, or
just being filled with light,
light?
total
Okay.
light. Yeah.
And now
I
what was that light? Was it God, or what do you, yeah.
love and light, total support, total light. There was no thought of a person. There was no thought of me, no thought of him. It was just no thought of God. It was just pure it was a balm, pure cleansing. It was a
Mhm.
cleansing, pure, just my soul and my heart were totally, I'm talking, not talking about my physical heart, my heart, it filled, I was healed completely.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that was during, okay, so let me get this together. So that merging was during the second NDE.
Yes, in 2001. Yes.
So there might have actually been an actual healing, because getting a whole bus rolled over your head and only, having just minor
Right.
scrapes and bruises is like, that's a
Right.
miracle. So
Oh, I
yeah.
totally agree. That and maybe probably also the combination of my journey to the water world too, because the
Oh
waters are
yeah.
cleansing. Those waters are cleansing,
Mm.
and I would go there a lot, but they'd have to bring me back because I didn't want to come back. So so I
They
go
would
there a
have to
lot.
drag me out of there.
Yeah, they did have to drag me for sure. So you're right.
Hmm.
But yeah, so I do believe that that was part of my healing, my body.
Yes. Okay, okay. Okay, let me see what else. Also, now, do you, okay, so because people have their own beliefs in this, this is why we have some of these sects of Christianity. Do you believe that Yeshua is God, or that the entity, that God itself, the creator of all, is a separate entity? Like how do you differentiate?
Well,
Or do you not?
not really. I believe that he is God and we are all God, expressions of God. He was able to, like I said earlier, he was able to attain that. Um, I believe that he came here to show us that we all have the are all light and love. The rest is illusion. There is nothing else. The rest is the
Mm-hmm.
game, right? Just what we're
Mm-hmm.
playing. We are light and we are love. End of story, kind of thing. And that's what God is: light, love, love, light. Uh, and so I believe that he came here to show us that, help us remember that. So he was God in physical form, but he's never told me or shown me that he's God and we're not, because we are all God in physical form. It's just that we have the illusion that got in the way of us remembering that we are expressions of light and expressions of love. And that's why he came here. So um, when he showed up for me, yeah, he showed up as God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I have questions here, and then I have other ones that are kind of popping up because when people have an experience with Jesus, for starters, I always say, "Oh, was he like, laughing and having fun?" Because that's usually what I hear, and I hear that in your story. But then you have others, because maybe he has to be that, that strict, a little bit more strict with some people because they're on the wrong path. But some people don't have him laughing. He's more just kind of like, stoically go do this, or stop doing
Mm,
that.
right.
So I see that you had that other experience. But when
Well, he
people
knows my, I'm sorry to interrupt you,
no, no,
Haji.
no, go ahead.
I just want to say he knows my soul. He knows that I need humor. So
Okay, see? Okay.
that's how we communicate. And
Yes.
he communicates with me with humor. And and he can of course be firm with me, but it's with me, my soul, because of
Mm.
my experience and my history, he uses tons of patience with me and humor. And he's
Mhm.
very, very gentle.
Very good. Okay. Um, so then another question, yes, I think I can go to this now. All right, so this is something like, it's like the biggest question I had to ask you, because I know your story and I know about just to confirm, the first NDE was something that you recalled during a meditation once you started doing the 9 p.m. meditations, right? Okay.
Yes.
So a recall of an NDE.
Yes.
So I've noticed a lot of people who have either abuse as a child or just really difficult, extremely difficult childhood. And not to say all, because there's some people who go through it all and absolutely they never get any, that kind of makes them even more bitter because they have no celestial help, But a
Right.
lot of NDEers who have gone through some extreme childhood abuse tend to have some kind of celestial help or some kind of STE or some kind of intervention, from a celestial energy or power.
Hmm.
Um, well, I guess I just kind of want you to speak to that. Like, why do you think that is?
Uh, well, I do believe that uh, people, the human condition is that we choose challenging experiences to help us um, experience the the opposites of this realm, because our natural state is to be in the higher realms where we don't have that contrast. Okay. And so people who, I believe that there are agreements that people make to choose a really challenging lifetime, a lot of pain, that kind of thing. And so if they haven't um, if they haven't got to where they're healing it or forgiving it or whatever it takes to move forward through it, that maybe the agreement was, obviously with me it was,
Mm.
that our higher guidance will send some kind of intervention to help with that, to help us um, wake up to, out of depression or out of anger or out of whatever it is. I was a partier, I wasn't going in a good direction. I wasn't an addict. I didn't have addictions, although there was many instances where, or there was many opportunities for me to become an addict, but I didn't. And so I knew that, and I got myself in a lot of uh, situations where I probably shouldn't be here today, right?
Mm.
And
Mm.
so I knew that there was some higher power watching over me. Okay.
Mm.
But I do believe that we have agreements where if our plan is not uh, going on a path that helps move us toward forgiveness and healing what we came here to heal, then we do agree to have some kind of intervention. I had an out of body experience once that was really profound. I found where I'm standing in front of this temple with double doors, or really big, beautiful double doors, and I'm talking to a couple of people there, and I'm aware of myself as Sharon, but I'm also aware of of my higher part of me that's doing work on the higher planes. And this gentleman, this young man, runs up to me, and he's really happy to see me, and he's this gorgeous bald man that looks like a Adonis, but he doesn't have any hair, and he's like all built, because we look really good on the other side, a lot better, really good. And so yeah, like you look now. What are you, like 30 or something? So we look around that age. Okay. And so he runs up to me and he's happy to see me, but he changes his demeanor because I don't have good news for him. And so we touch heads, and I give him
Uh-huh.
information, and we touch foreheads. I
Mm.
give him information, and the information was that his brother on the planet needs his help. And but he doesn't have to reincarnate. Um, but they're asking his guide, the guides of his brother are asking him if he would do an intervention, some kind of a visitation or something. And he said yes. And so we opened up the double doors, and there's bald people there, sitting there looking. There's about 5 people sitting there, humanoid, looking at a screen on the wall. And there's his brother, and he was a meth addict or something along those ways, or heroin addict, and he was on the streets, and he was really bad off. He had
Mm.
gotten way off his path. So he agreed, they were going to sit there and tell him what he needed to do in that conference, to appear to his brother in some way to help
Oh.
him do something, make a plan to get him back on track.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I do believe that we have these interventions, or whatever you want to call them. I
I'm
mean, I
getting
wasn't
goosebumps.
that, but yeah,
Because I like things like that because it's, ultimately, I never know. It's not like I have a big following, but you never know who's going to see these videos, who's going to hear your words. And there's so many things that we kind of get stuck in. And I feel like for people, the biggest thing is for people who are like stuck or have really, really tough lives this time around, whether it's
right.
from karma from this life, a previous life, or they just signed up for everything. They would say, just throw it all on my plate, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
um, you just want to make sure that there's, you say something here and there that can help them. And like, just to know that we're really just not alone. We're not, we're so not alone. Like, I feel like
mhm.
sometimes I'm just probably like, okay, who's here now?
I know,
Like, who's here? Just,
totally.
just come on. But
Yeah,
we probably want to be more alone, but we're not. Even in our deepest, darkest moments, we are not alone. They are
we're not
watching, and
alone.
and I mean, some people also get upset about that. Like, say, if you're, suicidal and you're, about to take all these pills, you're just like, I've been asking for help. I've been screaming to God. I've been screaming to this and that, and nothing, no one's helping. And it's just like sometimes they literally, it's like you said, you need permission. Like if Yeshua is asking you for permission, you know what I mean? It just shows that we really do have free will to some extent. We really, it's up to you, you know?
Mhm,
So
mhm.
they can't really interfere too much. But if some people who are listening to this will know that they have had times in their life when they know without question that somebody, something, a whole group intervened and just said, okay, we're going to help you out a little bit, just a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Yeah, and because
Hmm.
like you said, it's free will. And what was really, I love that. That's really wise. You're very wise. Yeah. But for such a young person, oh my
No, I've
gosh,
I've
why
been
didn't
through I've been through quite a lot, quite a
Okay.
lot. I
I'll
just
have
it
to get
doesn't
you on
show.
my channel. I'll have to get you on my channel. Okay. Um, but what I liked about that out of my experience was that it showed me that there is a process to this. It just doesn't happen like, willy-nilly and then, oh, hey, you know, the
Mhm.
the angel, I'm an angel and I'm gonna go down there and shake this person around. It's a it's something that they meet on, and it's a committee kind of thing, and that they plan
Yeah,
it out to make sure that it works in some
yeah.
way. I mean, it may not work for everyone because we're pretty stubborn down here, but yeah, that was really profound for me to see that, to be a
Wow.
part of that too.
Yeah, yeah. I love it. I love it. And it's good to know that there is some order to it, especially when your life is getting really crazy here. You just feel like, okay, is just anything, like, but on the other hand,
Right.
some people do say because of free will, at the same time, like you might have all this planning, but because of free will, there are things that are really just, they're not, they had no idea that it was going to happen. Like some NDEs, some people literally say that they're like, you're not supposed to be here yet. What are you doing here? Like,
Yes.
like
Yeah.
complete confusion. I've heard some of those, and I'm just like, okay, how do they not know what's going
Exactly. Yeah.
on? Cool, cool. So something else that you had said, and I don't know where I wrote it, but I just rewrote it because you mentioned it again. Um, at one point you said that you did not want to live the life again. Like, no, you didn't want to have to start all over again. And I think
Mhm.
everybody, nobody wants to be a baby again. Not really. I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe there's some people out there who want to, not be able to take care of themselves at all. But most people don't want to do that. So, I do have a question because some people have said during these experiences that it's not even just reincarnation, that there's a possibility of having to redo the actual life over, like this actual life that we're living right now completely over. And that resonates with me in a very scary way. So I mean, like, do you know anything about that? Have you heard of that possibility?
I haven't heard of doing the life over, although I do know from my work, and what Yeshua taught me is what we don't heal, we come back to repeat. We repeat. We have a different body, and we choose our circumstances, we choose our parents, we choose our life and what we need to trigger us to heal whatever we haven't healed. Now, as far as living a duplicate life over, I haven't heard that, so I can't speak to that. That
Mhm.
doesn't. Mm, I mean, it may feel like a duplicate life, and I
Deja
see a
vu
lot.
every day.
Yeah, I
Groundhog
say a
Day.
lot. I know, right? And I say a lot that really there's nothing new. We're just repeating what we haven't healed what we
Oh, I'm
have.
so glad you just said that. Like you're so right. You're 1,000,000% right. Like yes. And that's why maybe yes, because there's nothing new under the sun. So like that could be why people kind of get a little frustrated because it's like if you don't learn those lessons, we really are, like you said, repeating a lot of the same stuff over and over and over and over again.
Hmm. Yeah.
Wow. Mm. Um, and then so the I think the cool thing about your NDE is the after, like you're meditating, not even you were instructed to meditate every night, every evening with Yeshua, and then at certain points are seeing past lives. So it's bringing in reincarnation, meditation, and these are things that people who might be Christian are just like, that's not part of what we like. There's no way. She's like, look, I don't know. It's what I was
I
told to
just
do.
know I just know what I was experiencing, you know? I mean,
Mhm.
there's some passages in the Bible which are refer to reincarnation. They don't call it that, but yeah.
Yeah,
And I totally believe that there were some stories taken out of the Bible that were about reincarnation
yeah.
and past lives, whatever we want to call it. But yeah, that's what was coming. So, and I believe that what was happening was there's a lot of my NDE that I it took me years to remember a lot of it. Okay.
Mm,
I mean, I knew that there was something. I started having out of body experiences with him and going toward a sun and, flying toward a sun and trying to get there. But I would wake up before I would get to the sun. And I knew once I reached the sun, I'll be with God. I knew that, but I didn't have
mm.
that complete memory yet. And as I was meditating with him, it all started falling into place and journaling and all that. But I was going somewhere with this, but I interrupted myself. Uh, yeah,
It's okay.
with
I'll edit it.
remembering, okay, with remembering past lives and so much. Oh, the life review.
Okay.
I believe that I was looking at my life review.
I'm so glad you're mentioning this because I just now realized that I don't recall you saying you had a life review.
No, I didn't recall it during the actual NDE. And I believe that my meditations and what he was helping me with was bringing the memory of my NDE back in increments because it was so profound and so emotionally deep that
Mm,
I couldn't remember it all at once. First of all, my body had to heal.
yeah.
So I couldn't tackle that and, you know,
Yeah.
all of that.
Hmm.
And so he and I agreed that I would be in my room, and I was there every night in meditation with him. And I mean, I still meditate with him every day. Every day, I changed it to morning now more.
And you just answered the question I was going to ask, but did you meditate prior to this, or was this like a whole new
No,
thing for you?
no, it was a whole new
Wow.
thing. Yeah,
Wow. Okay.
yeah, and so as I was with him, I believe that he was helping me remember more in sections and puzzle pieces, puzzle pieces of my indie and putting it together. And I
Mm,
really didn't put it together about the life review until the last couple of years that when I was seeing my past lives and seeing my
mm.
childhood and that kind of thing, that I was actually remembering my life review.
Wow.
Yeah.
So at what point did the life review happen in the NDE?
I don't know. That's what I'm
Okay.
saying. That's
Oh,
what I'm
oh, okay,
saying.
okay. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I believe I had one. I mean, I did have
Yes.
one, but it had to come to me since there is no time. It had to
Yeah.
come to me when
Oh,
I
yeah.
was ready for it because it was hard. I mean,
Okay.
I like I said, I was seeing all the way back to the Lyran Wars, the Galactic Wars, which is huge.
Oh, okay. So this is a multi-life review.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh my God. And
yeah.
I've
I
heard,
was
I mean,
seeing,
I don't know much about that, but I've heard like some really like if you're okay, I'm just so that people understand what you're saying it was difficult. If you're mentioning that, I've heard some extreme stories about that war. So I can imagine that this would have to come in increments, like
mhm.
really small increments.
And so
Wow.
did this current life had to come in increments too, because I was remembering horrendous abuse as a child and part
Mhm.
of some program. And this is another story, another topic, but part of a program. I was put in a program. But yeah, and so that all those memories were coming, and it had to be a little at a time,
Mm.
in order, and you know, and still I still was knocked off my rocker
Yeah,
with the
yeah,
with it. Yeah,
yeah.
and I tell that story in my book, but
Yes. And we're gonna finish off here in a little bit because I almost want to, 'cause I definitely have to go into the extraterrestrial because I really just feel like people need to be more comfortable talking about this. And I have a whole nother series just for that. So I might literally just cut that piece of
sure, okay,
video and
yeah,
put it there. So I'm
I
gonna have
understand.
these last two questions. We're gonna close off here and then I'll ask a couple of questions about the extraterrestrials if we have time, if you have time. Yeah,
I
okay.
got, yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Okay, okay. So I just wanted to mention that when you were talking about the black void, a lot of people, there's either people who felt that it was very peaceful and relaxing and loving, and you just felt like you were just in a big, warm, velvety hug. And then there's
Mm-hmm.
others who are absolutely terrified.
Hmm.
And I mean, do you have any idea why people would be scared in that space? Like, can you know, having been there?
The only thing I can think of maybe is that their history, the programming, you know, afraid of it, trauma or something that would be there's uh, something that would cause them to be afraid of it. You know,
Mm,
I don't know. Every person's experience is so different. It based on what I understand, based on their own experience, their own history, and
mm,
whatever they have to deal with during that time. Yeah.
okay.
So, because we all have our own matrix, our own book, you know, our own
Yeah.
history, our own records uh,
Yes.
that make up who we are.
Okay, and then I would say the final question because it brought up something else that I had been thinking about. You said that, and I love this whole part because it felt like it was something that is really hard to explain, but so you were pulling in like what you felt, and I just had that feeling about this. But you were saying that when something is out of balance in this space, that something else that this energy, this sound, this vibrational music or something, it helps to balance it out, to keep everything in absolute equilibrium, right?
Yes.
And I just love that idea because it was one woman who had an NDE, and it till this day is stuck in my mind because it was just so controversial and so like it just messes with your whole head thinking about it. But she was saying that what she experienced there was that they were saying that the reason why Earth is so traumatic and hard and difficult, etc., is that we are literally doing work to balance out all the good that's in these higher realms. Like, in order for there to be joy and love and peace in these higher realms, that there had to be a space where there was the exact opposite. And I was just like, what? Does that
That's
resonate
crazy.
at all? Because what you said reminded me of that. I'm like, because that would be a major balance. That would be a way of keeping the balance.
Uh, yeah, that let me sit with that for a second.
See, it's he's like, wait, I can't just answer that. I gotta think.
Now I know there has to be balance. I do know that. And but I believe it's us that put the moral judgment on what bad is, right? So
Mhm,
it's dark and light, right?
mhm,
High and low. Um, yeah, it makes sense. Although I believe that it's from the perspective of the planet, if that
mhm.
makes sense.
Okay.
I don't see that the universe has to be balanced out. I believe the universe already balances itself out. Um,
Mhm,
I believe it's on the perspective of the planet, and the gravitational pull keeps us within you know, the realm of the planet,
mhm,
balancing good. And we got out of balance with the dark on our planet, and that's why we're moving into higher frequencies. Or as we move into higher frequency, frequencies we're balancing out with more light rather than
mhm,
darkness because we got too dark, right?
mhm.
And out of balance is what I understand. So that's interesting. I'd love to see that. I'll have to watch that.
See, but you see why I brought it up? Like, it's something that is like, if there's truth to that, it just makes us, it just, whoa, just whoa. I'll send it to you because I think
Yeah.
it was in the duress.org. It was one of those I believe that I read, and I will find it and I will email it to you so you can read it because it was
Okay.
just off the charts. Like that's
Yeah,
that whole idea.
I'd love to listen to that and get that, try to understand what that perspective.
Yes.
Real. Okay.
Um, but so is there anything that we haven't covered that you'd like to add?
Oh, there's a lot, but it's in my book.
Another
Okay.
it's in your book. Like so tell okay, so because this is the second video, so tell us about your book and then tell people where they can contact you and yes, just do that. About your book and
Okay.
how to contact you. Hmm.
Okay. Yes. Well, I have my book finished. Finished my book, and 10 years in the making. It's at the publisher now, and I'm really excited about it. I got to say, I'm pretty proud of myself for getting this together because it's a lot. And
Wow.
it's a wild ride for sure about the aftermath of my NDEs and the aftermath of my NDEs, which has a lot of crazy stuff in it, and working with Yeshua ever since then,
Mm.
and lots of guidance along the way. So that comes out June 21st. I do have pre-orders coming up in a couple weeks, and you can go to my website if you want, if you're interested, sharonsananda.com, SharonSananda.com, and I'll have something up there in a few days.
Okay. And is that the best place for people to contact you or your YouTube? Like how do you prefer people to reach out?
Yes, I also provide personal sessions. I teach workshops. I'm a psychic medium. I'm also a past life therapist, so I help people with soul retrieval and that type of thing to help if anyone feels stuck or has blocks in their life. And Yeshua taught me all these tools to help me, so,
Hmm.
and asked me now share it here. I'm teaching you this to help you. Now go share it. Go out
Yes.
into the world and share it. And so that's what I do. And I teach people how to do it on their own. I'm in the middle of an out of body experience course right now, and lucid dreaming course.
Awesome.
Next month, my course is psychic and mediumship development and connecting with your guidance system, all of that, and your guides. And that's next month's course. And I also teach automatic writing and channeling courses. That was last
Awesome.
month.
So I'll have links to your website and to anything else you give me. And if you take
Okay.
donations or all that stuff I'll have come up, pop up here.
Oh,
And then
okay.
the last thing is just, do you have a message that you would like to share with everyone who watches this video?
Yes, I'd like for everyone to know it's going to be okay. Everything is going to be okay. This too shall pass. If anyone's having a tough time, I mean, we're going through some crazy times now, for sure,
Mm.
and things are uh, looking looking good. Every time I ask guidance, I always ask them, "Okay, so are we okay? Everything gonna be okay?" And they're like, "Yes, yes." And I saw what's happening now. I saw this in my NDE. Um, I saw that he showed me a lot of the future. There's a lot I didn't cover, but and a lot of it is what's going on. And he showed me, Yeshua showed me that there's so much light for us, and there's a lot of people here. We're here all here to help each other. And remember that we are love, and you're never alone. Like Haji was saying, we're never alone, and good times coming.
Yes, 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 yes. Perfect. Okay, so thank you so much, Sharon. We thank you so much for your wisdom and for sharing your NDEs. And I just want to thank you for being a part of this.
Oh, well, thank you. It was my pleasure.